What's up? My name is Sally, and this is how I went from a 326 to a 252 in the marathon. In June of 2024, I ran my first marathon at the Green Bay Cellcom Marathon and finished in a time of 3 hours and 26 minutes. Fast forward to December of 2024, I ran the St. Jude Memphis Marathon with a final time of 2 hours, 52 minutes, and 44 seconds. And I wanted to cover a few things about how I did it, so maybe somebody can use this information in their own training and their own strategy to help them improve over the marathon distance. I feel like it's important for me to preface that I'm completely self-coached. I didn't pay anybody, I didn't pay for any training plans, I didn't pay for any workouts. I just used what I could. I compiled my own mileage, my own workouts, my own strategy throughout this whole training block, and it really paid off. The first thing I wanted to touch on actually was the amount of research that I did going into my second training block of the year. I researched through YouTube and through articles just how to get faster over distance, how to structure a plan like increasing mileage, how often I should be doing speed workout, how much I should be recovering, anything and everything. I was watching videos, I was reading articles, I was doing it all. And secondly, was the big piece of the puzzle which I had to figure out was the consistency. With increasing mileage every week, going all the way up to 69.5 miles during my peak week, I had to show up so that I didn't crash and burn towards those bigger weeks. I started small, around 20 miles a week, built up to 40, took a couple deload weeks depending on schedule, depending on sickness and injury, and I built until I was finally ready to taper for my race about 2 or 3 weeks out from the actual gun. The other thing that was super important to me was actually hitting my daily mileage, my weekly mileage. And of course, I missed it a handful of times. I'm not going to get every single mile in every single week. But I made sure that it was really important to me to hit those miles. If I feel like garbage in the morning, I only run 3 miles. I pick up those last 7 in the afternoon when I'm feeling a little bit better. The third thing that I wanted to talk about was my strategy. Increasing volume, they recommend about 15 to 20% every week. I have a background in running. I've been running for many, many years, so I started a little bit heavier and increased pretty heavily, but I also adjusted if I didn't think that I was going to be able to hit it before I even started my block. I would adjust if it said I was supposed to get to 90 miles. There's no way I'm hitting 90 miles in a week. So at least with my schedule. So what I did was I adjusted that. I ended up with a peak week about 65, 70 miles, and that was perfect. That's what got me through. Other part of strategy is running your easy runs easy and your hard runs hard. And this is something I really haven't figured out yet. Um, Sometimes I would go out for my easy, supposed to be low heart rate run, and I would be sitting at 160 beats per minute, running a 7 minutes 15-second pace when I really should be at 8 minutes 15 or 8 minutes 30 seconds per mile, which is something I really need to figure out moving into my next training block. Moving into my next marathon prep, Ironman prep, whatever that is, just making sure my easy days are easy and my hard days are hard so I can maximize my recovery. The other thing too is just having intention with all of your workouts. Your speed work, you are focused, you're driven, you get the work done, you get your miles in, you kill yourself during that workout, but you get faster. And then the next day, you go out, you easy, recovery run, whatever you have the next day, you do it intentional. The fourth thing I wanted to highlight was my fueling during this prep. This is something I really figured out during this second marathon block. Making sure I'm getting high carbs and carbs from good sources so that my body has that fuel during my runs. This could look like a bagel with peanut butter every morning, which may not be the healthiest, but there's lots of carbs, lots of proteins. It's simple, it's easy to get down. The other thing I really leaned into heavily was Bare Performance Nutrition G1M Sport. It's a carb and electrolyte supplement. That really helped me because in my first marathon block, I was supplementing all of my pre-race carbs with liquid IV, and that just it wasn't going to cut it if my goal was to get faster. Um, and to just having your gels during your runs, if you're going for a 10-13 mile run, making sure you have 1 to 2 gels on you so that you're not burning out in those last 2 to 3 miles. You really want to stay on top of your nutrition if you're going for a big goal like I did, or just starting out too. It's something that everybody needs to figure out, and it's an imperative part of endurance training. As to go along with that, you want to make sure you're getting enough calories. I don't know where I heard it, but supposedly 1 mile equals 100 calories burned. So if you're running 10 miles every day, that's 1,000 calories a day on top of the 1,500 to 2,000 you burn passively during the day. So making sure that you're keeping up with your calories, making sure you get the right foods in, which I'm by no means a aficionado in. I eat like crap all the time, but being conscious of what you're putting in your body, being conscious of how much you're burning is very, very important. The last thing that I really wanted to highlight in this little video is what I tried to avoid during my training. And the big one was not forcing myself to conform to other people's training. Specifically online, when I'm watching YouTube videos of people's workouts, of people's training blocks, they're at a different level than me, whether that's higher, whether that's lower, whether they're training for a completely different type of race altogether, making sure that I'm understanding myself and understanding my goals is very, very important, and structuring my workouts around myself and not what I see work for other people. And lastly, I tried my best not to force myself to do something when my body was telling me no. Um, that's probably the worst thing that you could do. That leads to injury. I know I got injured towards the last 2 weeks of my block and had to do everything I possibly could to alleviate that injury and make sure I was ready for race day. But sometimes you're just not feeling it that day. If you go out and you're 15 minutes into your 45-minute run and you just feel like garbage, slow down, turn around, go home, rest, recover, maybe do it in the afternoon, like I said, or maybe do it tomorrow. Just make sure that you're not pushing beyond the point of no return. You want to push your limits, you want to get better, and that's the only way you can get better is by pushing. But understanding that there are limits is vitally important. And now, with all of that being said, my next goal is half Ironman 70.3 in Rockford, Illinois. I also have a marathon lined up about a month before the 70.3 race. So I'm going to continue building on what I know about marathon training and what I've learned through the last year of running to make sure that I hit my goals. I don't know what my goal is for the marathon. I don't know what my goal is for the 70.3 yet, but making sure that I'm fit, healthy, and ready to race when the gun goes off. That being said, if there's any questions, comments, concerns, leave them in the comment section. I would be happy to answer anything, but also please remember that I am in no way a professional. This is not coaching advice. I don't have a coaching business or medical advice. I'm not a doctor. So take that as you will, take this advice as you will, and hopefully you can learn something from my experience, as limited as it may be, and push towards your next goals. Thank you.